Happy Tuesday, everybody. Sam Shapiro back here with more of your Heat latest on FanArc. Be sure to check out our channel, drop this video a like, and don't forget to subscribe. We got a lot of great daily content all pertaining to the Miami Heat right here going forward. Alec Burks, why on earth hasn't he been re-signed by Miami this offseason? Last year, Miami getting a bang for their buck and a veteran minimum for him on a one-year deal. And ultimately, they kind of just signed him initially for reassurance in their backcourt, but he ultimately ended up stepping up much more than expected in the postseason, shooting a little under 43%, led the team from three-point range in terms of that regard, and just very, honestly, I'm very confused why Miami wouldn't try to settle for that. They're very good on, as we've seen this past offseason, getting pretty much a lot of getting more for less. Norman Powell being a great example of that just a few weeks ago. And I just think Alec Burks definitely beats to that drum as well, considering how well he was able to shoot the deep ball and the guard reassurance he would pretty much put the bow on top for in terms of Miami. I think if they were able to re-sign him and they didn't go for a guy like Westbrook, would definitely we would be pretty much okay, at least in their backcourt. Wouldn't need to worry about maybe picking anybody else up this free agency season. So I'm not entirely sure why Miami hasn't seriously negotiated trying to, sign another veteran minimum for Burks. Maybe it's because Burks thinks he can get a little bit more value because of how he played this past postseason, or because of guys like Kashad Johnson, maybe stepping up in the postseason or in the summer league rather over the last few weeks. And Miami maybe wanting to get younger and maybe trying to free up some more cap space to sign him or, keep him on the roster. But I don't see why they couldn't maybe potentially get both guys headed into this 2025-26 season. So we'll just have to wait and see how that kind of turns out. But I definitely think Miami should look into maybe trying to get the veteran guard who's now 34 back on another veteran minimum for South Beach, just because of how he was able to contribute for Miami this past postseason. And when you have a veteran guy like that, I mean, having an experienced guy like that doesn't necessarily hurt, especially this Heat team who is fairly young now and is also trying to look to develop more guards like Pela Larson and Yaku Chones as this season progresses. So we'll just have to wait and see what happens there. But one guy we know for sure that is staying in South Beach right now so far, Andrew Wiggins, definitely confirmed he's going to play through. Miami's at least going to give him a chance to see how he's going to gel with Miami as this regular season gets underway. But I definitely could see Miami potentially changing their minds in a couple months, more towards the trade deadline, obviously. It's not going to be anytime soon, maybe even at the end of the 2025-26 regular season. They might really give him the full year to try to settle in and develop. He's already been in Miami practicing. His family's getting settled down there. Spoelstra says, we want him to stay, obviously. But I definitely think he would garner some value, even if he didn't completely gel with this Miami team right now. So one trade package I think that would be great would be Dylan Wiggins and maybe a player like Haywood Highsmith to the Lakers for Rui Hachimura and Jared Vanderbilt. I definitely think Miami getting younger with that trade, also getting rid of the $28 million they still have to pay Wiggins, could be worth signing a younger guy like Hachimura. And, although they are losing a wing guard, they are losing a veteran wing player, it would be good for the Lakers too to kind of have a guy like Wiggins who's got winning experience already, helping, Golden State win a championship just a few seasons ago, complementing guys like Luka and LeBron on that front. So I definitely think both teams could benefit there. Again, Miami getting younger, picking up those guys in exchange for Wiggins. But another trade that also could be worth it, that would also beat to a similar drum, would be maybe shipping Wiggins to Cleveland for DeAndre Hunter and a 2028 second-round pick. Again, Hunter's much younger and cheaper, and he fits very well with Miami's defensive identity. I think he would blend in very well with Heat culture. Cleveland's angle, they would have a great now veteran scorer to complement Donovan Mitchell. So again, I could see both teams pretty much benefiting solidly well from both a trade package involving those players as well. And another package that I think Miami could benefit from, maybe possibly shipping Wiggins to Detroit for Jaden Ivey and Asar Thompson. Asar Thompson, I think, is a great developing player, up and coming in the league. I think him and his brother are going to be all-stars in just a few seasons, just because of their athleticism, their defensive prowess, and what they bring to the game. And adding another scorer like Ivy to South Beach could be very, very good. especially because they're going to be losing a veteran scorer like Wiggins, who would complement Cade Cunningham on the Pistons very well. Also, Miami also getting rid of that, like I've repeatedly said, that $28 million they still owe Wiggins. So time will tell if he gels well with Miami and if they end up changing their minds by the trade deadline. I think if they do, exploring any of those options could definitely help bring some value to Miami if they decide to part ways with him. But right now, it's looking like they are not going to part ways with Andrew Wiggins, and they're going to try to make it work. I hope it does, just because he's a great veteran scorer, incredibly athletic player, and I think if they can bring the best out in him, can definitely help Miami maybe move closer to a 6 or 5 seed rather than needing to rely on the play-in tournament to create a postseason berth. But one player that I'm very happy Miami is not looking into right now is Malcolm Brogdon. I think Brogdon is a pretty solid guard, free agent still on the board, but I don't think he would gel very well with Miami. Averaged just under 13 points per game last season with about 4 assists and just under 4 rebounds with the Wizards. But he only played 24 games, and he's got a pretty bad history of reoccurring lower body injuries throughout his career, not just last year. So I don't think the defensive wear and tear that Miami kind of looks for in Heat culture Brogdon would necessarily gel with that pretty well. And while he also is a playmaker, we've got plenty of playmaking guards already in Tyler Herro and Scary Terry if he's got to come out and, put on a show. So I don't think he would gel well with the backcourt as well as, maybe a guy like Alec Burks or Russell Westbrook, who's started to kind of understand more of a bench role that he would kind of gel better with from the triple-double machine he once was. And I'm very glad that Brogdon is not on Miami's radar. I wouldn't say I'm more excited than the whole Ben Simmons conversation I was talking about just a few episodes ago, but Brogdon definitely a talented player still on the board that I'm glad Miami is not going after right now. The what-if scenario I don't think would be a glass slipper fit for the 305, and definitely don't want to see him come to South Beach, especially this upcoming postseason. But moving over to the Summer League play, it's pretty much all wrapped up now for the 305, and Bleacher Report gave Kasparas Jakučionis' overall Summer League play a D+. They graded every team's rookie in an article by Dan Favale this past week, and they didn't really have a lot of nice things to say just because of how Jakučionis played in the California Classic, really struggling overall. He went 1 of 15 from the floor with 6 assists and 12 turnovers in that time. He then had the best outing, like I was kind of mentioning in the previous episode, on July 11th against the Hawks, where he went off for 24 points and 4 assists on 7 of 12 shooting, including shooting over 50% from 3. The ease was that he was just able to just launch off the dribble threes in that game kind of effortlessly, taking really, really tough shots. But that was kind of the only inkling we saw of that, especially in Vegas. And it was just, unfortunately, I would have liked to see a little bit more of that from the whole grand scheme of things as he was playing throughout the Summer League, and not kind of peaking in that one game in Vegas. Kind of did come into his own throughout that stint in Vegas. I touched on that in last episode as well. But California Classic really, really struggled, just could not get a shot off to save his life, and just a plethora of turnovers. Just kind of, we were really trying to see some hints of playmaking from the 19-year-old guard drafted from Illinois with the 20th overall pick this year, but we didn't really see that, especially in the California Classic. And it was just, it was unfortunate to see him take a little bit of more extra time to go. Obviously, it's just the Summer League, so in the grand scheme of things, it doesn't really mean a whole that. It's not the end of the world. He could come out in the preseason this year and just shoot the lights off and ball out. He did say that, Jakučionis rather said, he was very happy with what he was able to learn throughout this upcoming this upcoming Summer League season, and it'll be interesting to see if he can take some of the mistakes he made, especially in the California Classic, and kind of work on those as these summer months progress, so that in time for October, he's a little bit more comfortable in the playmaking regard, and maybe not trying to run around trying to work for those harder shots, which he proved that he could make, but he shouldn't have to rely on those shots because it's going to wear and tear on you a lot in terms of just any player. And I definitely think it will potentially maybe not help him going forward in terms of trying to develop into a more playmaking guard that can also score the deep ball rather than just trying to put the shot in his hands 24/7 and really just trying to take over the game. He doesn't need to do that. We've got plenty of playmakers that already do that for South Beach, obviously, in Tyler Harrow, Kalel Ware, and Bam Adebayo. And he really just needs to develop as a playmaker, because that is how I believe he'll help out the team the most. Be sure to check out more of our daily content throughout this week. I'm going to be diving into all the latest regarding free agency rumors and more with Miami. Be sure to drop a like on this video and subscribe to our channel for more daily content. Thanks so much for joining us, and have a great Tuesday.